Genesis chapter 46. Israel set out with all that was his. When he arrived at Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. There, God, speaking to Israel in vision by night, called Jacob, Jacob. Here I am, he answered. Then he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation. Not only will I go down to Egypt with you, I will also bring you back here after Joseph has closed your eyes. So Jacob departed from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel put their father and their wives and children on the wagons that Pharaoh had sent for his transport. They took with them their livestock and the possessions they had acquired in the land of Canaan. Thus Jacob and all his descendants migrated to Egypt. His sons and his grandsons, his daughters and his granddaughters, all his descendants, he took with him to Egypt. These are the names of Israelites, Jacob and his descendants, who migrated to Egypt. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon, Nemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi, Gershon, Kahath, and Merari. The sons of Judah, Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan had died in the land of Canaan, and the sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Pua, Jashub, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun, Sered, Elon, and Jahel. These were the sons whom Leah bore to Jacob and in Padan Aram, along with his daughter Dinah, 33 persons in all, male and female. The sons of Gad, Zaphon, Hagi, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arod, and Erali. The sons of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah, with their sister Sarah. And the sons of Beriah, Heber, and Milkael. These were the descendants of Zilpah, whom Laban had given to his daughter Leah. These she bore to Jacob, 16 persons in all. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. In the land of Egypt, Joseph became the father of Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of Heliopolis, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ahiram, Shufam, Hufam, and Ard. These were the sons of Rachel, bore to Jacob, 14 persons in all. These sons of Dan, Hushim. The sons of Naphtali, Jahazel, Guni, Jezer, Shilem. These were the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban had given to his daughter Rachel. These she bore to Jacob, 7 persons in all. Jacob's people who migrated to Egypt, his direct descendants, not counting the wives of Jacob's sons, numbered 16, 6 persons in all, together with Joseph's sons who were born in him in Egypt, 2 persons. All the people comprising Jacob's family who had come to Egypt amounted to 70 persons in all. Israel had sent Judah ahead to Joseph so that he might meet him in Goshen. On his arrival in the region of Goshen, Joseph hitched the horses to his chariot and rode to meet his father Israel in Goshen. As soon as he saw him, he flung himself on his neck and wept a long time in his arms. And Israel said to Joseph, At last I can die. Now that I have seen for myself that Joseph is still alive." Joseph then said to his brothers and his father's household, "I will go and inform Pharaoh, telling him, 'My brothers and my father's household, whose home is in the land of Canaan, have come to me. The men are shepherds, having long been keepers of livestock, and they have brought with them their flocks and herds, as well as everything else they own. So when Pharaoh summons you and asks what your occupation is, you must answer, 'We, your servants, like our ancestors, have been keepers of livestock from the beginning until now,' in order that you may stay in the region of Goshen, since all shepherds are abhorrent to the Egyptians." Genesis chapter 47. Joseph went and told Pharaoh, "My father and my brothers have come from the land of Canaan with their flocks and herds and everything else they own, and they are now in the region of Goshen." He then presented to Pharaoh 5 of his brothers whom he had selected from their full number. When Pharaoh asked them what their occupation was, they answered, "We, your servants, like our ancestors, are shepherds. We have come," they continued, "in order to stay in this country, for there is no pasture for your servants' flock in the land of Canaan. So severe has the famine been there. Please, therefore, let your servants settle in the region of Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "They may settle in the region of Goshen, and if you know any of them to be qualified, you may put them in charge of my own livestock." Thus, when Jacob and his sons came to Joseph in Egypt, and Pharaoh, king of Egypt, heard about it, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Now that your father and brothers have come to you, the land of Egypt is at your disposal. Settle your father and brothers in the peak of the land." Then Joseph brought his father and Jacob and presented him to Pharaoh. After Jacob had paid his respect to Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How many years have you lived?" Jacob replied, "The years I have lived as a wayfarer amount to 130. Few and hard have been these years of my life, and they do not compare with the years that my ancestors lived as wayfarers." Then Jacob bid Pharaoh farewell and withdrew from his presence. As Pharaoh had ordered, Joseph settled his father and brothers and gave them holdings in Egypt on the peak of the land in the region of Ramses. And Joseph sustained his father and brothers and his father's whole household down to the youngest with food. Since there was no food in any country because of the extreme severity of the famine, and the land of Egypt and Canaan were languishing from hunger, Joseph gathered in as payment for the ratios that were being dispensed all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan, and he put it in Pharaoh's palace. When all the money in Egypt and Canaan was spent, all the Egyptians came to Joseph pleading, "Give us food, or we shall perish under your eyes, for our money is gone." "Since your money is gone," replied Joseph, "give me your livestock, and I will sell you bread in return for your livestock." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he sold them food in return for their horses, their flocks of sheep and herds of cattle, and their donkeys. Thus he got them through that year with bread in exchange for all their livestock. When that year ended, they came to him in the following one and said, "We cannot hide from my lord that with our money spent and our livestock made over to my lord, there is nothing left to put at my lord's disposal except our bodies and our farmland. Why Why should we and our land perish before your very eyes? Take us and our land in exchange for food, and we will become Pharaoh's slaves, and our land his property. Only give us seed that we may survive and not perish, and that our land may not turn into a waste. Thus Joseph acquired all the farmland of Egypt for Pharaoh, since with the famine too much for them to bear, every Egyptian sold his field, so the land passed over to Pharaoh, and the people were reduced to slavery from one end of Egypt's territory to the other. Only the priests' land Joseph did not take over, since the priests had a fixed allowance from Pharaoh and lived off the allowance Pharaoh had granted them. They did not have to sell their land. Joseph told the people, "Now that I have acquired you and your land for Pharaoh, here is your seed for sowing the land. But when the harvest is in, you must give a fifth of it to Pharaoh, while you keep 4/5 as seed for your fields, and as food for yourselves and your families, and as food for your children." "You have saved our lives," they answered. "We are grateful to my Lord that we can be Pharaoh's slaves." Thus Joseph made it a law for the land in Egypt, which is still in force, that a fifth of its produce should go to Pharaoh. Only the land of priests did not pass over to Pharaoh. Thus Israel settled in the land of Egypt, in the region of Goshen. There they acquired property, were fertile, and increased greatly. Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. The span of his life came to 147 years. When the time approached for Israel to die, he called his son Joseph and said to him, "If you really wish to please me, put your hand under my thigh as a sign of your constant loyalty to me. Do not let me be buried in Egypt. When I lie down with my ancestors, have me taken out of Egypt and buried in their burial place." "I will do as you say," he replied. But his father demanded, "Swear it to me." So Joseph swore to him. Then Israel bowed at the head of the bed. Chapter 48. Sometime afterward, Joseph was informed, "Your father is failing." So he took along with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. When Jacob was told, "Your son Joseph has come to you," he rallied his strength and sat up in bed. Jacob then said to Joseph, "God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessing me, he said, 'I will make you fertile and numerous and raise you into an assembly of tribes, and I will give this land to your descendants after you as a permanent possession. Your 2 sons, therefore, whom were born to you in the land of Egypt before I joined you here, shall be mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine as much as Reuben and Simeon are mine. Progeny born to you after them shall remain yours, but their heritage shall be recorded in the names of their 2 brothers. I do this because when I was returning from Padan, your mother Rachel died to my sorrow. During the journey in Canaan, while we were still a short distance from Euphrates, and I buried her there on the way to Euphrates, that is Bethlehem." When Israel saw Joseph's sons, he asked, "Who are these?" "They are my sons," Joseph answered his father, "whom God has given me here." "Bring them to me," said his father, "that I may bless them." Now Israel's eyes were dim from age, and he could not see well. When Joseph brought his sons close to him, he kissed and embraced them. Then Israel said to Joseph, I never expected to see your face again, and now God has allowed me to see your descendants as well. Joseph removed them from his father's knees and bowed down before him with his face to the ground. Then Joseph took the two Ephraim with his right hand to Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left hand to Israel's right, and led them to him. But Israel, crossing his hands, put out his right hand and laid it on the head of Ephraim, although he was the younger, and his left hand on the head of Manasseh, although he was the firstborn. Then he blessed them with these words, May the God in whose ways my father Abraham and Isaac walked, then the God who has been my shepherd from my birth to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, bless these boys, that in them my name be recalled, and the names of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and they may become teeming multitudes upon the earth. When Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand on Ephraim's head, this seemed wrong to him, so he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's, saying, That is not right, father. The other one is the firstborn. Lay your right hand on his head. But his father resisted. I know it, son, he said. I know that one too shall become a tribe, and he too shall be great. Nevertheless, his younger brother shall surpass him, and his descendants shall become a multitude of nations. So when he blessed them that day and said, By you shall the people of Israel pronounce blessing, may they say, God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. He placed Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, I am about to die, but God will be with you and will restore you to the land of your fathers. As for me, I give to you as to the one above his brothers, Shechem, which I captured from the Amorites with my sword and bow. The word of the Lord.